So I wanted to show everybody gaming today on these two devices, the HTC Arrive and the Samsung Focus. Obviously, since they have the same internals for the most part, they should game pretty much the same. But since they both are different hardware, as far as one being a slider keyboard and the other one just being a some people call candy bar, or I call slate device, they do offer a little bit different of a feel, and I just wanted to highlight on some of those differences. So the first thing that I want to point out is the screens. Obviously the Focus on the right here has a slightly larger playable area. As far as colors go, they actually both look almost identical. I don't know if the camera can really capture this, but obviously the Super AMOLED screen on the Focus, offers deeper blacks. You definitely notice that in the Windows Phone interface. But in gaming, they really do look identical. The Super LCD on the HTC Arrive really makes up the difference as far as where LCDs generally were not that great with their colors in comparison to the Samsung displays. The HTC Arrive looks amazing. That the screen, the colors, they look identical to the contrasty graphics that you get on the Focus. So as far as appearance goes, the colors and everything both look fantastic on both these displays. You do have a little larger playable area on the Focus. Now with the Focus specifically, there are two kind of gripes I have. The first gripe is that the power button, while it's easy to get to and nice usually, it's actually a little bit annoying with at least how I hold the phone when gaming on some games. On this game it's obviously not an issue because the controls are down here, but there's other games where I like to hold the phone up here and I sometimes turn off the display and send it to the lock screen, which is annoying. The other issue is, I don't want to complain, but I'm going to complain here, is that the manufacturers are obsessed with these non-physical buttons here, and that creates a problem, especially if your button's over here, because it's easy to hit the back button like that. Or on some games I find myself swiping like that or whatever, and I'll hit the home button, which is obviously pretty annoying. This happens more on this phone because the screen comes pretty close to these buttons, but really I hate non-physical buttons. I'd just much rather have a nice physical button I can press that's not going to be set off every time I just swipe over it. With the Arrive, I don't find myself coming close to touching these buttons over here. Maybe it's just because I have more depth to the phone, that I can kind of rest the phone on my hands more comfortably. But I have definitely not accidentally hit these buttons over here. Also, the bezel's just a little bit wider between the screen and the buttons, so that might help. As far as the power button goes, the power button is actually in a really annoying, hard to get to location. So great for gaming, not so great for normal use, because it's, again, really hard to actually get used to turning off and on the phone, or the display, I guess. Something though you can do here is use the, you can't use the keyboard in the game obviously, but that would be nice. But you can use the keyboard to kind of get a different grip on the device, which sometimes comes in handy. The other thing I found though with this hardware is that the speaker location on some games I find myself covering up the speaker fairly easily, whereas with the Focus, while the speaker's in a fairly similar location, I just found that that was less of a problem than on this device. As far as the rest of gaming goes on the two devices, I think I give my preference to the Samsung Focus in that you do have a little more real estate to do things like these swiping gestures and whatnot, which is nice. But they both perform similarly. The HTC Arrive does obviously load some games a little bit faster. In some games it's actually noticeably faster, quite a bit faster. But otherwise they both offer a pretty similar gaming experience. Both are very smooth in the games that they're playing, and what you'd expect from a Windows phone.